When you're standing in front of the guitar aisle, the biggest question isn't which color looks cooler. It's whether the instrument will actually fit the way you play and the music you want to make. I've spent a few weeks with the Ibanez premium AZ47P1QM in its black iceburst finish, and I want to give you the kind of rundown that helps you decide if this is the guitar that will sit comfortably in your routine, or if you'd be better off looking elsewhere. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the hesitation most buyers have with a premium label is whether the price premium translates into something you'll notice day to day. The AZ47P1QM sits in the middle of Ibanez's lineup, sandwiched between the more entry-level Artcore models and the flagship JEM series. That positioning means the components are a step up from beginner gear, but you're not paying for a boutique handcrafted finish. In practice, that translates into a solid basswood body that feels stable under a strap, and a maple neck that isn't too chunky for players with smaller hands yet still offers enough heft for aggressive picking. The Ebony Fingerboard gives a slick, fast feel that many intermediate players rave about, especially when you're doing string skipping or fast scale runs. What really matters is how those pieces work together when you plug in. The AZ47P1QM comes with a 3-pickup configuration, 2 humbuckers flanking a middle single coil. That layout is a nod to the classic HSH formula, but Ibanez tunes the voicing a bit differently. In my testing, the humbuckers deliver a warm, rounded tone that holds up nicely through high-gain distortion. Think classic hard rock or modern metal rhythm work. When you flip to the single coil in the middle, you get a brighter, more articulate voice that shines on clean arpeggios or funky rhythm work. The real advantage shows up when you blend the humbucker and single coil together. You get a semi-hollow character that feels like a modern take on vintage Strat tones, perfect for indie rock chord voicings that need a little bite without getting muddy. If you're the type who likes to swap guitars between gigs, the black iceburst finish is more than just eye candy. The paint job has a subtle, frosted texture that resists the usual scuffs you get from regular gigging. I didn't notice any paint chips after a full day of playing on a sweaty stage, which suggests the finish is more durable than a standard gloss. That said, the finish is a bit thinner than some higher-end models, so if you're a heavy-handed player who likes to bang the body while you play, you might notice a faint ping when you strike the wood. It's not a structural problem, just a tactile nuance that could be a minor annoyance for those who are extremely tactile about the body's resonance. One of the hidden trade-offs with a basswood body is its tonal balance. Basswood is known for being relatively neutral, which is great if you rely heavily on your amp and pedals to shape tone. However, it also means the guitar doesn't have the pronounced low-end thump you'd get from a mahogany body, nor does it have the bright snap of an alder. In a band setting where the bass guitar is already handling low frequencies, that neutrality can actually be a blessing. The guitar sits in the mix without fighting for space. Conversely, if you're playing solo acoustic-style electric pieces and you want that natural low-end grow, you might find yourself reaching for a pedal to compensate. Who should buy this? If you're an intermediate player who's outgrown a beginner model but isn't ready to invest in a high-end boutique instrument, the AZ47P1QM hits a sweet spot. It's especially appealing for gigging musicians who need a versatile tonal palette without swapping multiple guitars. The 3-pickup layout covers a wide stylistic range, from clean jazz-inflected lines on the single coil to crunchy rhythm tones on the humbuckers, so you can stay on stage longer without changing gear. The neck profile and ebony fingerboard also make it a solid choice for players who prioritize speed and smooth soloing. Who should skip it? If you're a purist who insists on a mahogany body for that vintage warmth, or you need an ultra-lightweight travel guitar, the AZ47P1QM may feel off-center. Likewise, if you're after a high-gain metal instrument with aggressive low-end response straight out of the box, you might find the basswood body a tad too neutral and end up spending extra on a high-gain amp or a bass boost pedal. Finally, if you're a beginner on a shoestring budget, there are cheaper alternatives that offer a similar feel, though they may lack the premium finish and the ebony fingerboard. From a practical standpoint, setting up the AZ47P1QM was straightforward. The bridge sits at a comfortable height for most players, and the intonation held after a quick string change. The knobs are well spaced, so you can adjust volume and tone on the fly without worrying about slipping fingers. The only real downside I encountered was the lack of a coil splitting switch. Some players like to get a pure single coil sound from